Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at the CSEC Caribbean History 2015 Paper 1 questions. But before we start, I want to say a big thank you to all of my subscribers. And if you are stopping by my channel for the very first time, welcome. Question 1. Just go down to question 1. Which of the following statements is true of both Jamaica and Cuba at the time of Columbus' arrival in the Caribbean? And the best possible answer for question 1 is B. They were inhabited by Taínos. Question 2. Which of the following best describes the religious practices of the Kalinagos and Taínos? And the answer to question 2 is C. They were nature worship and ancestor worship. Question 3. Which of the following statements are true of the Kalinagos? And if your answer is D, all of the following, they adopted many Taino customs. They were skilled sailors and fishermen. They fiercely resisted the Spanish invaders. So the answer to question 3 is D. Question 4. Item 4 refers to the following map of the Atlantic Ocean. The area where the Kalinagos lived before they migrated to the Caribbean islands is labeled, and if your answer is 3C, you are correct. Question 5. Which of the following did the Maya use as money? And we have seen these questions before. A. Cocoa beans. Question 6. Christopher Columbus sailed west mainly because he wanted to find a passage to the east. So the answer to question 6 is C. Question 7. Which is the correct order of the 15th century European social groups from most to least powerful? So the most powerful was the kings, the priests, the merchants, and the peasants. So the answer to question 7 is D. Question 8. Item 8 refers to the following map of the Caribbean. On which of the following islands was the first Spanish settlement established? And the answer to question 8 is, what do you think the answer to question 8 is? If you have C, you are definitely correct. Question 9. Let us go to question 9. In which century were the English most successful in establishing settlements in the Caribbean? And the answer to question 9 is D, the 17th century. Question 10, and I hope you are getting them right. The main aim of the English and French in establishing colonies in the Caribbean was to produce tropical crops for the mother country. C. Question 11. Tobacco ceased to be the staple crop of the early English colonies in the Caribbean, mainly because Caribbean tobacco could not compete on the European market. D. Question 12. Which of the following groups of items was used by the Europeans for the purchase of Africans on the slave coast? And the best possible answer to question 12 is D. Gunpowder, iron pots, and beads. Question 13. The term barracoon is best associated with the trade in captive persons on the African coast. B. Question 14. Let us go to question 14. Which of the following means of protest were used by captive Africans during the Middle Passage? And the best possible answer to question 14 is A, 1 and 2 only, attacking the crew and committing suicide. Question 15. Which of the following is true of enslaved persons in the British Caribbean? They were encouraged by their masters to farm on small provision grounds. D. Question 16. An enslaved African in the British Caribbean who stole from the owner was least likely to be C. Charged a fine. Question 17. A major cause of the Boston Revolt of 1816 in Barbados was the belief that emancipation was being delayed. B. Question 18. Which of the following factors contributed to the success of the Maroons in Jamaica and Suriname in their resistance to slavery? And the best possible answer to question 18 is the large size of the two territories, and another factor was the nearness of difficult and remote terrain. A, 1 and 2 only. Question 19. The Free Coloreds of St. Dominic revolted in 1790 because they, and the best possible answer to question 19 is B, they were dissatisfied with their status in society. Question 20. Which of the following enslaved persons were most likely to use poisoning of owners as a means of resistance? And the best possible answer to question 20 is the domesties. Question 21, and we are going down nicely. Which of the following was the main purpose of the policy of amelioration? And the best possible answer to question 21 is to improve the conditions of the enslaved in the British Caribbean. D. Question 22. Which of the following groups was the first to amend the policy of amelioration? And the best possible answer for 22 is C, the West India Lobby. Question 23, and I hope you are getting them right, students. Which of the following was not a requirement of the apprenticeship system? And the answer to question 23 is A, apprentices were to be trained to become skilled workers. Question 24. Stipendiary magistrates were persons originally sent out from Britain to ensure that, and the answer to 24 is B, there were no abuses of the apprenticeship system. Question 25. Which of the following organizations did not support the abolition of slavery? And the answer to 25 is D, the Colonial Church Union. Question 26, which of the following groups was mainly used by British Caribbean planters as emigrant workers in the period after 1833? And the answer to 26 is Indians, A. Question 27, Indian indentured labor was introduced into the British Caribbean in order to ease the labor problems of the planters. B. Question 28. Which cultural elements did indentured workers from Madeira bring to the British Caribbean? And the answer to question 28 is Portuguese, D. So if you have that, you are correct. Question 29, the most significant contribution of the Portuguese immigrants to the economy of the British Caribbean in the 1800s was in the development of retail trade. C. Question 30, and we're going down nicely. The majority of immigrants brought to work in the British Caribbean in the years between emancipation and the First World War were employed as, and the answer to question 30, they were employed as laborers. A. Question 31, help in the formation of free villages in Jamaica came mainly from, and help came mainly from the missionaries. B. Question 32. There were more free villages in Jamaica than there were in Barbados, mainly because in Jamaica more land was available for settlement. A. Question 33. Which group of territories contained the most crown land? And the answer to question 33 is D. Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad. Question 34. Which of the following best describes a British Caribbean peasant proprietor in the period after emancipation? And the answer to question 34 is, let me hear your answer, D. Someone who cultivated plots of land on his or her own account. Question 35. Which of the following crops was most likely to be sold in a pleasant market? And the answer to question 35 is, if your answer is C, sweet potatoes, you are definitely correct. Question 36. The policy by which United States government was actively involved in directing the financial affairs of the Caribbean between 1905 and 1930 was known as, and if your answer to question 36 is dollar diplomacy, you are very correct. A. Question 37. Which of the following was the immediate cause of the United States declaration of war against Spain in 1898? And the best possible answer to question 37 is The USS Maine was blown up in Havana Harbor. B. Question 38. Which of the following was the aim of the Monroe Doctrine of 1823? The United States would oppose European intervention in the New World. So the answer to question 38 is C. So we are going to stop at question 38 for this video. The 2015 Caribbean History paper will be done in two parts. So this is part 1, where we did questions 1 to question 38. In part 2, we will continue from question 39 to question 60. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you love this video, if you want to see more Caribbean history videos, please subscribe, like, and share this channel. Turn on that notification bell that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified immediately. So students, look out for part 2 of the Caribbean History 2015 paper 1 question, where we will be continuing from questions 39 to question 60 in another video.